existing and you happen to go to basically any supermarket or discount store or Goodwill or anything like that, pretty much anywhere in America, you're bound to come across some very interesting looking blasters. They look like they shoot foam darts, and sometimes they might actually shoot a foam dart. But these blasters are some of the worst things you could possibly ever imagine. And I've come across a few, and I've had a few sent to me. So welcome to the inaugural episode of whatever I'm going to call opening up a bunch of very, very terrible, god-awful pieces of plastic sin against gods and demonstrate them, and then most likely throw every single one away. By the way, if you happen to come across blasters that you want to send in for something like this, please let me know, because it would make things a heck of a lot more funny. I'm going to start with one I actually purchased myself from my local grocery outlet. I originally had a whole package and stuff for this, but it melted away, because they don't really seem to use glue to put plastic on paper anymore. But this is some kind of plane shooter looking thing, and it has all the hallmarks of being a god-awful budget. I think it actually cost me like $4 too, but a god-awful blaster. I could crush this thing in one. Yeah, see, I literally just barely twisted it and it almost snapped in half. You heard that. And it shoots little miniature planes. These are a foam dart, these are a foam plane. So technically it's allowed to be in this episode. Do you really think it fires this at all? It's even got little cutouts for like the plane to go on and everything like that. But it's an extremely tight fit. And it's does actually fire it. Not that the planes actually fly or anything like that, but it fires a foam plane a couple of inches. What more can we say about this? Well, there is actually some paint application on it, on both sides! Again, Hasbro, why is this a problem for you when even this cheap ripoff merchant can manage to do something like that? It's from Headstrom, Ashland, Ohio, and it has a phone number and everything on there, which is scary AF. And yes, this thing would not last you very long whatsoever. The primary goal of something like this is to put it in shops, put it somewhere, and you'll buy it for your kids, I guess, or you'll make a really terrible YouTube video about it. But it is absolutely flippin' awful. This is pretty much every single one of these blasters. Now I'm gonna show you something that is hilariously interesting, but at the same time, not viable for things like this in the future, and that is something Soundboard sent me quite some time ago. This just came from eBay, and that should be an entire series in and of itself, but this is some kind of cheap knockoff. You can already tell what's going on here. It's got a little arm, it's got a pullback, it's got a plastic ball, like a ball pit ball, but way smaller. You prime it back, it catches, you put the ball in there. It doesn't really stay in whatsoever. Hey, I actually found it again. You pull the trigger, and it fires the ball out. With ridiculous amount of force for what it is, but it's still god-awful, this thing. And again, you can hear it, like, cracking and flexing, and yeah, it's a piece of crap. They're all pieces of crap. Now let's look at a couple that were sent to me from fans, starting with one that Cat Pirate sent me so long ago I can barely remember. It is the blaster gun with holster from Hunson. For ages 3 and up, I don't think you would ever give something like this to somebody ages 3 and up, because they're immediately going to try to swallow it, and there's nothing on the back of the package. I don't think Clowny has covered this. Clowny used to do a similar thing when he'd take a look at a whole bunch of Jaru blasters and stuff like that, and now I'm gonna suffer through the exact same thing. Although it is somewhat interesting, because in the package you do get this like wristband looking thing. Let's see if I can actually put this on. Oh, maybe. Hold on. And there, it's on my wrist. That's about all you're gonna get out of me. So this isn't even a terrible idea, because you've got a jolt or something on your wrist that you can easily kind of slot back into place. Okay, I said easily. That might have been stretching the truth a little bit, but it's out of the way. You could still do other things, and then in a pinch, you could draw darts, put it on the end. Yeah, you can already see where this is going. I guess we'll have to remove the entire thing, but can it go? I don't think it can. We're gonna have to, because I don't think that's making a seal whatsoever. Come on. Go on the end of that. Okay, I think that's about as good as we're gonna get. Pull that back, pull the trigger, and it does actually fire the darts! which is incredible. It's like, it's almost half useless. If you were to tag, oh, okay, I thought I broke it. If you were to tag somebody out with this during an actual war, you would be a legend. So this thing's actually somewhat kind of cool. It's still a cheap plastic piece of crap, but it's actually more rigid than the other ones we've looked at. It's the... Okay, well, here's the problem. And I've already opened one of these several months ago, years ago even. It doesn't take standard foam darts, which is kind of like the biggest problem. It kind of shoots them, but it really flippin' doesn't. And that's the issue with this blaster. Now, if you were to pay like $1 for this and you took it with you to an HVZ game or something like that, it would be kind of hilarious. But these are hard-tipped solid darts. Like, this is literally a piece of plastic. And of course, it's not compatible with any other foam dart. So good for a gimmick, but not exactly war functional whatsoever. Not that you would expect any of these to be war functional, but hey, you got a blaster on your wrist and you can draw it and load it up and fire it. And that's somewhat interesting, I would say. But yeah, it's still a piece of crap, a piece of garbage that you probably never want to spend your money on. I'm amazed how well that stayed on my wrist. And here's something I received very recently from one Cryo Nerf mods, and that is the Space Force Crossbow set. I never understood the fact that people in space would be using crossbows, but I mean, I don't live in space. I don't quite know what their ecosystem is like, but it's a soft, safe target fun, and you can launch them. Directions on the back. There's actually something on the back of the package. I was not expecting that. You pull back the rod until it clicks into place to cock crossbow. Insert tip of crossbow into base of dart. Pull trigger to fire. For maximum firing distance, make sure tip of crossbow is fully inserted as shown. And it has cut out and fold targets. No kid has ever done that. And it has safety rules. Warning, do not use projectiles other than those supplied or recommended by the manufacturer. Caution, do not aim at eyes or face. Do not fire near people or animals. Do not modify this or any of its included components. Use only under adult supervision. Includes tomb foam darts from Jaru. There we go. We were expecting them to show up. This was picked up, I believe, at a Goodwill. And it's remarkably similar to other pieces of crap we have looked at. Well, it actually does technically function. That you can never really guarantee that. The foam on this is the worst foam. It's basically transparent. You can almost see through it. In fact, I'm pretty sure you can see through it. And I somewhat doubt that this is compatible with normal foam darts. Here's the dart that we just reamed out to shoot from the wrist blaster, and oh boy, I'm sorry, dart. This is gonna hurt. Oh man. Oh no. Oh, I'm sorry. That's uncomfortable even for me. And the bow arms do literally, they don't, that is the bow, like, why? That doesn't do anything. It literally does nothing. It does nothing. Why is it included? Uh-oh. I might have just broke it. Okay, it fired that time, but I'm pretty sure we broke something. Wow, I mean, that's the muzzle that we're working with. It's like 5 really small holes drilled in the front of that with the world's smallest drill bit. I can't believe they try to sell stuff like this, and I can't believe people actually buy them. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. You can actually kind of grip it. You can technically fire things out with it. I wonder if it's compatible with those other darts from the wrist blaster, because those are really reamed out. Yeah, they're about the same size. Oh, it fires those even harder. So does that mean we got some cross-compatibility between companies? They're their own Nerf brand? It's not compatible with Nerf, but yeah! All right, well, we found a way to get more ammo for our wrist blaster and or Space Force crossbow sets. That's incredible. I was not expecting that. Now, I think the scariest part about this is we gotta go pick up a Nerf blaster to fire these actual darts out of. Except, of course, for the plane, because even though that is a foam dart... well, hold on, wait, can you... No, I wouldn't... Oh, that just makes me uncomfortable thinking about doing that. No, that's not gonna work. We gotta go find an actual blaster. Here we go. It's the X-Shot Ninja Tech 4 looking thing. I actually kind of like these blasters, and they just I don't know. I like them. It's one of those things that I actually do like. So, we're going to put one of you... Oh, God, that feels horrible. Oh, my God. Oh, that's horrible. And we're going to put one of you in there. And one of you... I mean, it actually does technically fit, but if it's engaging the air restrictor or anything in it, I have no clue. I actually wonder if one of those is going to hit super duper hard. In fact, I'm going to... No, it doesn't. It fires like absolute garbage. Oh! Ow! Ow! Okay, never mind. Take that back. That actually hurt. Okay, well, those ones don't, but the foam darts with the suction heads do. Ow! Holy crap! And, of course, we have to run a couple of these through the chronograph. Now, obviously, the planes will not fit through here whatsoever, but we can fit a plastic ball. 0.3. I do believe that is not entirely accurate. 49.5? Why do I not believe that? Well, unfortunately, I just lost that one ball, so we're just going to say that's one of the strongest blasters ever, even more powerful than a Jolt. Let's move on to the crossbow thing without the crossbow arms. Wow, jeez, this thing's not going to last too much longer. Oh, this makes me uncomfortable every time I do it. 17! Let's try one more time. 18! Not half bad. Let's see how you do when it comes to the wrist blaster. The blaster gun, I believe this one was called. 29. Huh, that's legitimately almost usable. It's more powerful than, well, stock hammer shot. Nah, that's a joke. Stock hammer shots are at least 50. 28.8. I mean, honestly, if you could find a bunch of these for cheap and had a bunch of the darts, 30.8. I mean, these are... I was not expecting this to be so good, as long as you have extra darts for it. But that is our collection of absolutely terrible blasters that honestly shouldn't exist, and every single time you think about how bad Nerf or something is, just thank your lucky stars they aren't these things. Let me know what you think about this video idea. I do have another set of these I could do a video on, and of course I'm always looking for more of them. If you are interested in sending a blaster in for me to subject to this rigorous testing, there is of course a fan mail address down below in the description that's in every single one of my descriptions that you could use to send something like this in. I would really appreciate it if it was in the card that it normally comes in with its included ammo. And of course, you write where you picked it up from and, well, who you happen to be. Because that's going to be the most important part of getting these blasters together and shaming them for the entire internet to witness. Because as soon as they're there, they're gone, they disappear, and none of these things will survive. I mean, these things had to come from, like, the same designer, which is weird. Like, they had to. Yeah, they literally had to, because they say made in China with numbers and stuff at the exact positions. But this one's not labeled genre. Anyway, I'm getting confused. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for enjoying this video with me, and I do hope to see you in an entirely different one.